Welcome to part 6 of my video series on workshop techniques. This video shows how I make baseboards for model steam engine projects. I've used the same technique for multiple projects, and all the baseboards have come out well. I'd like to give a shout out to Keith Appleton's videos, as I used these to learn how to make them. I'll put a link to Keith's YouTube channel in the description below. I started the process with a piece of 3/4 inch thick plywood which has been cut to size and sanded on the belt sander. I then put CA glue, or superglue, on one end of the plywood and press on a piece of mahogany strip. My go-to size for the mahogany strips is 1 inch by 1/8 inches thick. I get the strips from Northeastern Scale Lumber. They have great products and service. I'll put a link to their website in the description below. After pressing on the mahogany strip, I clamp it until the glue fully dries. After the glue has dried, I repeat the process on the other end of the baseboard. I use CA, or superglue, as it dries hard and is easy to sand. Wood glues tend to have a rubbery texture when dry and are harder to sand. I use clamps to secure the mahogany strips while the glue dries. I often use wood packers with the clamps so that the clamps do not mark the strips. Once the glue has fully dried, I remove the clamps and trim the strips. I start with a small hand plane. I found power planes to be too aggressive for planing the strips. It's also easy to lose control of a power plane and damage the wood. Slow and careful passes with the hand plane easily remove excess material from the strips. Next, I use the bandsaw to trim the ends off the mahogany strips so they are flush with the end of the plywood. It's important to align the ends with the bandsaw to avoid cutting them too short. I then sand all edges of the mahogany strip smooth on the belt sander. I followed the same process to apply mahogany strips to the remaining 2 sides of the plywood base. This speeded up clip shows the process. I trimmed the edges of the strips and sanded them using the same process I covered earlier. This photo shows the baseboard with the sides complete. This video shows me planning the strategy for attaching the planks to the base on the top of the baseboard. In this case, starting at the center of the baseboard and working out each way will leave an overhang at each side of the baseboard that can be trimmed off later. This photo shows a line I drew down the center of the baseboard. This acts as a guide for laying the first plank. I refer to the strips on the top of the baseboard as planks. In reality, They are the same material as the strips I attached to the side of the baseboard. This speeded up clip shows the process for gluing the planks onto the baseboard. I start by putting superglue onto the baseboard. I place the plank on the baseboard and line it up before the glue grabs. I then use clamps to hold the plank in place while the glue dries. Then it's rinse and repeat until all the planks have been laid down. I usually wait 10 minutes between planks and then leave the baseboard overnight to completely dry. Once the glue had fully dried, I trimmed off any excess material from the baseboard using the bandsaw. I then sanded everything flush on the belt sander. The ends of the planks tend to blacken on the belt sander, however, these will be cleaned with a mouse sander as shown in the next clip. I use a mouse sander to finish the sanding, taking care to remove any excess glue from the baseboard. Once sanded, I clean off any sawdust with a cloth and compressed air. I then finished the baseboard with 2 coats of stain and then 2 coats of wipe-on polyurethane varnish. I use a walnut-colored stain for staining the baseboard as I like the darker color it produces. This next sequence of photos shows various baseboards I have made using the technique described in this video. I'm always happy with the results. I like the term perfectly imperfect to describe the look of the baseboards. This suits their application on model steam engine projects. So, that's the video on making baseboards complete. I hope you can use the techniques shown in your model engineering projects. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to support my channel. Thank you.